everyone, this is Olga Mack here from Parley Pro, and today we're going to talk about the red lines, black lines, red lines, well, whatever you call them. We are getting a little bit off track or tracks, but let's talk about the red lines and the black lines, and actually let's talk about the delta view. So the delta view is when you take two documents and compare them side by side and you see the difference that the other side just made to your document. I'm hearing from my public relations that I'm confusing people with terms. Red lines, black lines, delta view, diff, comparison. They really mean the same thing. They really do. So thank God for co-authoring. We're gonna get to a good video very soon quickly because I have helpers along the way. But before we get into all of that, let's talk about what red line, black line, diff, delta view, comparison mean. They simply mean taking one version of a document, usually a contract, and finding out the differences with another version. Usually what has changed in the last round of comments and edits. And usually because another side has a different position or something they propose, or sometimes they change your grammar and commas, and the best part, when they perfect your templates for free. I love that. You get the lines from the other side and it's perfectly redlined with all the missing commas and periods and everything else that you thought you have taken care of but somehow forgot. Thank God for the opposing side or for the collaborators in the world, because they will make your contracts perfect. I just love that. But anyway, let's decide once and for all, what is the perfect way to call the red line or black line or whatever you call that comparison. And you might think this is just semantics. I mean, who cares what I would call it? You know? Who cares? Why should we even worry? But law is semantics. Semantics matter. Where we put a comma or a period and where we define things matters. And it's important that once and for all, we decide what are we gonna do? What are we gonna call it in Parley Pro? Red lines, black lines, or something else entirely? Stay tuned, we're gonna talk about it very soon. So, I'm on the mission to determine what is the best way to describe the red line, the black line, or whatever it is we're describing when lawyers compare one document to another side by side. Let's take the easy one first. Change plural and delta view. Well, those are kind of easy. Those are not description of the process of negotiating. They're not descriptions of the process of comparing documents and identifying the differences. Those are the names of companies. So if we're gonna use those names, we may as well use Parley Pro, but I know we cannot quite do that. If I start doing it, I'm gonna cause civil war here in a legal society. We cannot do that. So let's get away from company names and actually name it something that makes sense. That brings me to the name diff. I don't know if it means difference or difficult or something else entirely, but whomever came up with this name, the guy who did must have been really boring or really bored. Bored or boring, I don't know which one it was, but the name is very uninspiring, to say the least. If diff were to campaign to win this election, then the best slogan that diff could come up with is diff is kiff. Wait, that sounds really outdated. So for that reason, let's maybe not have diff win this election. I'm hearing from my PR that diff is in fact a term used to compare files and identify if and how and whether the files are different. So maybe diff, as boring or bored as it is still in the running to win this election. Let's consider two more candidates. Compare or comparison. Well, that is a thief of joy. That sounds like something inferior, and no lawyer wants something that smells inferior to be part of his or her vocabulary. So no, compare shall we not. How about trucks? Sounds like a good name. Short, to the point, somewhat descriptive but not too descriptive. But any good parent naming a child must consider ponds. Ponds that can be used with a name. Opposite of trucks or truck suit. That does not sound something that we should call that process that we daily spend our time negotiating and comparing. So let's not use trucks either. And therefore, this brings us to two lines, the black line and the red line. So the black line. The black lines seem to politicize things a little too much. a little too, let's just say, black and white. So no, we shall not vote for black line. With respect to red line, you have to love the red line. A lot of people love the red line. And, it makes sense. Red line slogan is, the bottom line is red line. How can you not love her for that? Isn't it amazing? Red line definitely has its followers and supporters, and therefore a very popular choice. And that leaves us with the diff on the one hand and the red line on the other hand. And that's how officially this election has a tie. We have a tie. I would love to hear from you. Which term do you think we should use? The red line, the black line, the diff, or something else entirely? Please leave your comments below, and definitely check out Parley Pro, where we help you to create, negotiate, and manage contracts all day, every day.